Hey guys, in this video we will be going to take a look on how we can renew the peer certificates. So whenever certificates are issued through Fabric CA server, they have a certificate expiration time with them, and after that time the certificates cannot be used by other components and they will always throw an error that the certificates has been expired. So in this tutorial we will be going to take a look how we can renew those expired certificates. So to follow along with this tutorial, we need the CA certificate, we need the CA private key, we need the certificate to which we want to renew, and as well as we need the private key of the certificate that we want to renew. Also, we will be going to take a help from the tool, which is this certificate management tool. And I found this tool over the internet, and this tool will make your life much more easier. With just one command, you will be able to renew your certificates. And alternatively, like you can go with the Fabric CA server approach. So in this tutorial, we will be going to take a look on the signing certs, and for the TLS certs, we will be going to have another separate video. But in this video, we will be going to renew the signing certs. So now let's head back to the browser and see this tool. So here we are in the official repository of this tool, and this is the tool which is this certificate management tool, and this is basically a simple Go tool. Which is built over Go, and we have the CLI. We can access this tool over the CLI. So let's first go to the releases page, and all we have to do is we have to just download the source code. So let me download the source code. Okay, so now let's move to the terminal and let's install this tool. So here, let's go inside the download directory and let's unzip the file. This one, we have unzipped that, and now let's go inside the directory. CD, this is the directory, and here we have to run this command. So let's go to the official docs. And here we can basically find the steps to installation. So we have to run the command make. So let's run the command make here. Okay, so the program has been built, and now we can set the path of that in the environment variable, and then we can execute this. So let's do that, and that is present inside this bin directory. So the tool is here. This is the tool, DCM tool. So now let's export the variable. So let me check the present bin directory, and let's set up the variable. Let's do export. Path equals to, and here basically you have to provide the path. So it is present inside this downloads directory like this, and if I do DCM version, and we can see the response, so which means that the tool has been configured correctly. And now let's move to the Fabric samples repository. So I have cloned the Fabric samples, and there we will be going to start the test network, and after that we will be going to renew the peer certificates. So let's go inside this Fabric samples test network, and let's start the network app, and let's create the channel as well. So the channel has been created and it is joined by the peers. And now let's deploy the chain code as well. So network deploy CC, and then I'm going to deploy this chain code, which is the ACID transfer basic chain code. So let's hit enter. So the chain code has also installed. Now we can query the chain code or invoke the chain code. So let's test it out. And for this, I'm going to use the default script that is provided with this example. So let me move the VS Code. and here let me open my terminal, and let's run the script, this one, which is application JavaScript, and let's run this app.js. Let me remove the wallets folder. Okay, so now we can run this script, which is node app.js. So we can see that the transaction was submitted successfully, and we can just query the chain code as well. We can see the response here. So now let's try to renew the certificates. So I initially told you that we need to have some prerequisites in order to renew the certificates. So let's see those prerequisites. Here, first we need the CA certificate, we need the CA private key, we need the certificate that we want to renew, and as well as we need the private key of the certificate that we want to renew. So we want to renew the certificate for the peer 0 of org1. So if we go to this folder, which is the test network, and here this is the organization folder. Inside this fabric CA folder, and if I go inside this org1, there we can find the CA certificate, this one, ca-cert.pem, and we can find the private key of this certificate here. Inside the MSP directory, we have another directory which is key store. Here we can find the key, the private key, and also we can find the certificate that we want to renew inside this peer directory, which is peer organization. And if I go inside the org1.example.com, inside this peers folder, we have peer0.org1.example.com, and inside this MSP folder, we have the identities for the peers. So the certificate can be found inside the sign cert. This is the certificate that is used by the peer for signing up the transactions, and the key can be found inside this key store. This is the key that is used for this certificate. So let's set up the environment variable that can be used with the DCM tool. So let me open my terminal here, and now let's export the variables first. So first we will be going to export the certificate. So let me just copy the path of this, and let's create a variable for that export. I will call it as parent cert, and this is the certificate. Inside this we have cert.pem, CA cert. So we have exported this cert file. Let me just zoom in. So we have exported this CA cert. Now we can export the private key as well. Export parent private underscore key, and let's check the key as well. So the key is inside this directory, which is key store, and basically here we have two keys. So we have to identify like which is the key for that CA, because here we have the key for the TLS cert as well. So let's just so we will going to test like what is the key for this certificate. So I have written a small script which is basically going to give us that is this the valid key for this particular certificate or not. So let's first we have to give the permission, because this file is like locked by the Docker container. So let's give the permission to this file. I'm going to give the permission to all the files that are present inside this directory. Okay, now I can just copy the path, and let's try to export this variable as well. Okay, so now let's check this key with the certificate. So for this I have written one script that is present inside my do directory. So that is this script, and this script takes the first parameter as the key, private key. So let me give the key as parent PV key, and the second parameter that is expect is the certificate. So which is we have kept inside this variable, which is parent cert. and let's hit enter. So here we can see we got the different values for the key and the certificates. So which means that these are not the matching pairs. So basically our key should be something different. So here we saw that we have two keys. So let's try with the second key. Let's just copy the path of this and let's do export parent underscore pv underscore key. Let's hit enter, and now let's again run the script. So this time we can see we got both the values as same, which means that these are the matching key pairs. So we have done the very first steps, like we have identified the CA. So we have done these two steps. Now let's go and find the CA certificate that we want to renew. So the certificate that we want to renew is this one, like I showed you earlier as well. It is present inside this folder, which is peer organization, and this is the cert, which is inside the science directory. So let me copy the path of this, and let's just export this as well. Export, I will call it as old cert. Okay. And let's do one thing. Let me just split my terminal, and I want to show you basically the actual content that is present in this certificate, like the expiry date. And after renewal, like we will be going to see some different expiry date, but all the things, other things are going to be remain same. So let me just copy the command, and I just need this part only. So let me just copy this, and here in the second terminal, let's run the OpenSSL command. So let me run the command OpenSSL x509 and then -in. So here we have to provide the input as our certificate path, and then -, and then -text. So if I enter, we get the decoded certificate, and here we can see that this is the serial number, which is 6B3B, starting with 6B3B, and then we can see the expiry date for this certificate, which is 2 November 2022, and after that, like we can also see the issuer. So the issuer to this certificate is ca.all1.example.com, and this certificate was issued to peer 0. So we can see those details as well. So now let's export the private key as well, and then we will be going to renew the certificate. So the private key can be found here. So let me copy the path of this, and let's export it here. Let me just zoom it. Yes. So let me just clear all this, and let's export old pv underscore key. Let's hit enter. Okay, so we are done with this, and now we can basically we have to export one more thing. We have to export we have to create the environment variable for our output directory. So let's export that as well. So export output dir, and I want to create a folder inside this peer0.org1 with folder name as renew, where I want to keep my renewed certificate. So let's export this, and let's create this folder as well. So mkdir output directory. So this will basically create a folder here. Let's go and verify this. So the folder should be present inside this directory, which is peer0.example.com, and here we can see this folder, which is renew, that we intended to create. And now we can just renew the certificate. So we will going to use the CLI, which is DCM, and then we have to run this command, which is DCM certificate renew, and then -parent cert. So here we have to pass the parent certificate, then -parent private key. So here we have to pass the parent key, and then -old cert. So here we have to provide the old certificate which we wish to renew, and then we have to provide the private key of that certificate that we wish to renew. And at the end, we have to give the output directory where we want to store the renewed cert, and as well as we have to give we are giving the certificate name as cert.pm. And this is the important flag, which is --days. So basically this flag tells us about the date, the number of date that we want to add to this certificate, so that it will basically extend the certificate validity to these many days. So like we saw here, when we try to see the expiry date of this certificate, the existing certificate, we saw that this certificate is valid for 2022. But if we kind of renew the certificate for next 1500 days, then the expiry date should be something different. So let's hit enter. Okay, so we can see we got the certificate renewal successful. And now if we go to the VS Code and see if the certificate is present in there or not, so we can see that the certificate is here, and we can also check this certificate. So let me just copy the path here, and let's run the OpenSSL command here. OpenSSL x509, and then we have to give -in. Okay, -in, and then we have to provide the path. So I have given the path of our renewed cert, this one, and then -text. So if I hit enter this time, we can see that the certificate serial number is same. It start with 6B3D and end with 67. So we can find the same details are here, as well as we can find the issuer is same. We can match those, and then we can also see the subject. So subject is also same here if we take a look on both the terminals. And then the important thing, which is the expiration date. So we can see that previously the certificate expiration date was November 2, 2022, but this time we can see that the expiration date has been changed to 2025, which is December 11, 2025. And if we kind of try to calculate the number of days, if we try to add 1500 days to the current date, we will be ever going to see the same date. So let's check this as well. So date. So here, if I just add 1500 days, so we can see that the date we are getting is December 11, 2025, which is the same date, December 11 and 2025. So our certificate has been, we have created a renewed certificate, but now we have to place the certificate inside the peer, so that peer can start with this this fresh certificate. So for this, let me just stop the container. Let me just move the container to the stop state. So I'm going to stop the container, docker stop peer0.org1.example.com. Let's just stop the container, and let's move this renewed cert to the MSP directory. So here, if I go to sign cert, let me just delete this sign cert, and here I'm going to put my renewed cert. So let me put it here. Yeah, so the certificate is now present here, and now let's restart this container. So docker restart peer0.org1.example.com. Let me close the below tab here. So our container has restarted. Now we can check the logs as well. Docker logs -f, and here we can see that our peer has started successfully, and we can try to invoke the transactions as well. And let's see what happens if we try to invoke the transactions, whether the peer should able to run properly as per the expectations. So let me move to the VS Code, and here let me just kill this terminal here. So here we were running our that script, Node.js script, which was storing up some data to the chain code, and as well as retrieving the data. So let me just clear up this, and let's again run this script. So here we can see that it submitted the transaction successfully. So the result is committed, and also it was able to query the transactions as well. So our invoke and query transactions both are working perfectly. And let's check out the logs as well. So here we can see that after that we got these many logs, and here if we kind of see, we can see that the chain code chain code execution was finished, and the chain code was running on this channel, which is my channel. And as well we can see that the block 10 was received, and one transaction was committed. Here we can see that the transaction was committed successfully. So this means that our peer is working perfectly fine with the new certificates, and those certificate has an expiry date of December 11, 2025. So let's just verify that as well once again. So let's just copy the path and see the certificate. copy path, and let's do OpenSL again. OpenSL X509, and then -in, and then the certificate path, and then -text. So this was the certificate. This is the renewed certificate, and we can see that the date of the certificate is December 11, 2025. Also, I want to show you one more thing. Like in this official website of this tool, here we can just we can not only just renew the certificate, but as well as we can basically inspect the content of the certificate as well. We can do that. And also those flags that I passed when I was running this DCM command. So these are the flag descriptions here. So -d was for the number of days, and then we have to pass the old cert, old private key, and the parent cert and the parent private key as well. So let's try to inspect the certificate from this tool as well. So let's copy this command. And for this commands require the -c flag, which is the certificate path. So let's try to inspect the certificate using this command line, using this tool. So move to terminal. Let me close the logs, and let me clear up this as well. And here we have to give the path. So let's get the path of the certificate here. So this was the certificate. Let's copy the path, and if I hit enter, we can see the same details that OpenSL gave us. So we can see all these details here. So that's all for this video. In coming up video, we will be going to take a look how we can renew the TLS certs as well. So TLS certs are used for TLS communication between the various components in the Fabric network, and we will be taking a look on how we can renew the TLS certs of Peer. So if you have any doubts or queries, just drop them into the comment box, and I will definitely try to answer them. And if you enjoyed this video, then please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.